I'm Steve Morgan, founder of Cybersecurity Ventures and editor-in-chief at Cybercrime magazine with the Q2 2026 VC report, brought to you by Evolution Equity Partners, an international venture capital investor partnering with exceptional entrepreneurs to develop market-leading cybersecurity and enterprise software companies. Learn more at evolutionequity.com. Time flies, and so does funding in our space. In our last episode, it was on the heels of Evolution investing into Cyera's whopping $400 million Series F round, which brought their total funding at that time to around $1.7 billion. Earlier in Q2, Cyera announced a new $300 million round, led by Evolution, on what some media outlets have reported as a $12 billion valuation. $2 billion is an enormous amount of money, and it places Cyera into a relatively small group of cybersecurity companies who have raised that much. Kai is another very hot cybersecurity company getting a lot of attention. They recently raised $125 million in a combined seed and Series A round led by Evolution. It's not often that we see a first raise for a cybersecurity company that is so large. Their CEO, Galina Antova, told the Wall Street Journal that Kai is an AI-enabled cyber platform from the ground up, whereas most cyber platforms, a kind of dashboard of security apps with different functions, are cobbled together through acquisitions. Let's turn our attention now to some of the larger deals we've seen in Q2, starting with Keyfactor, a quantum security company who recently raised $1 billion. Coralogics raised $200 million in a new round, less than a year after raising a $115 million Series E round. Corgi, an insurance tech company with an impressive footprint in cyber insurance, raised $106 million in a Series B1 round just 3 weeks after its $160 million Series B, and 4 months after its $108 million Series A, which is around $370 million combined. Exaforce raised a $125 million Series B round. 10x raised $250 million in new funding, and Cape, a privacy-first mobile carrier, raised a $100 million Series C round. We recently asked Richard Seewald, founder and managing partner at Evolution, what the first half of 2026 is telling him about the cybersecurity market and what we might expect to see in the second half of this year and possibly next year.
Look for cybersecurity companies to utilize Claude Code to actually enhance their capability to deliver products on time. We're seeing that in our portfolio companies. And actually, this isn't new news. For the past 18 months, we've been looking at this market and actually making investments in companies that have automated code platforms, and they've been doing exceptionally well. So look for this to actually propel the cybersecurity opportunity going forward.
Okay, let's dig into a little bit of M&A activity we've seen in Q2. There was a biggie at the end of Q2. Luxembourg-based Collective Defense acquired counter-drone company Asterion in a $1 billion deal. The acquisition combines Collective Defense's cybersecurity and threat intelligence capabilities with Asterion's counter-unmanned aircraft systems technology. The companies say the move reflects the growing overlap between cyber defense and protection against drone threats. A few Evolution companies were active in M&A during Q2. Torque acquired Boston-based JIT, and Cyera acquired Genie Security for $50 million. And then we have the big vendors. Cisco is acquiring Astrix in a deal worth around $400 million. A few months ago, Palo Alto Networks announced they were acquiring Israeli startup Koi, who is only 1 year old, for $400 million. Israeli cybersecurity giant Checkpoint was active domestically, acquiring 2 more Israeli companies, Cyclops and Cyada, for around $150 million. We also asked Richard Seewald, co-founder and managing partner at Evolution, for his thoughts on M&A in the cybersecurity space this year.
The stage is set for 2026, where you have new entrants into the M&A environment, both strategic, private equity backed. Just keep your eyes glued to Cybercrime magazine and the monthly deal news that Steve and the team put out, because it's going to be hard to keep track, I think, in terms of the numbers that you're going to see being done in 2026.
The Q2 2026 Cybersecurity VC report is brought to you by Evolution Equity Partners, an international venture capital investor partnering with exceptional entrepreneurs to develop market-leading cybersecurity and enterprise software companies. Visit evolutionequity.com to learn more. You can keep up with all of our media at cybercrimemagazine.com.